I'm doing a 1-inch flat felled seam. Get everything to line up all nice here. Now again, I'm going contradicting what I said earlier about how you pin. I'm worried that my shelf, when I get it all extended out, that my shelf is going to be curved like that. What I'm doing is I'm lining up so that I'm right on this outside of this foot. Alright, onward and hangingward. Hi everybody, creativeKayt back here again. So I'm getting ready to do some more sewing. Today we're going to learn how to do our own bias tape, which will be great. So I wanted to kind of walk you through that process. It's really simple, and it's a great way to make your own bias tape. Because bias tape can be expensive if you just buy it from the store. So we're going to be making our own. I need a lot of it, so that's why I'm doing my own. So I thought, hey, why not teach everybody else how to do it? It's really simple. So let's get started. Alright, well, I got myself this book called Vogue Sewing. It's a great book. It's got all sorts of awesome things on how to do stitches and various things like that. It's wonderful. And one of the things that it has in here is how to do bias tape. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to talk through was what is bias. According to this book, right here, bias is any diagonal intersecting the lengthwise and crosswise threads. Fabric cut on the bias grain possesses much greater elasticity than that cut on the crosswise grain. Maximum stretchability occurs on the true bias, which is obtained by folding your on-grain fabric diagonally so the crosswise threads are parallel to the selvage. Thus, true bias exists at any 45-degree angle to any straight edge of the fabric, whose lengthwise and crosswise threads are perpendicular. So, what does that mean exactly? Let me show you. Okay, so I've gone and grabbed some fabric. This is going to be the fabric that I'm actually going to use for my bias tape. And you'll notice, so this is long ways, which is the way that I lay currently. And if I pull on it, it stretches a little bit, but not a lot. Now if I pull on it sideways, it stretches a little bit more. It's a little bit different. Okay? Now one thing to notice is if I go at a roughly 45-degree angle, wow. I mean, it really stretches. And that's what it means. That's what bias is. So anywhere where the threads that go this way intersect the threads that go this way is going to be where your stretch is. Okay? Now, in order for us to do our bias tape, we don't actually have to go at a true 45-degree angle. We can go at a different angle. So I'm going to be cutting a fairly large rectangle. But first I'm going to show you how to do this with a post-it note so we can walk through the process. And then we'll do it with material. Okay, so here we have a square piece of paper that we'll pretend is our fabric. And what you want to do is you want to actually do a line from corner to corner, which would be your 45-degree bias. Now like I said, because this is going to be used for the edge of the hammock, 45-degree, you don't have to be that rigid about it. You can do a different angle, but if you want to get the most stretch, you want to do 45-degree. So let's go ahead and mark that right now. Okay, so now we have our bias line, and our bias is actually running this way, or you could view it running the other way, but basically it's running along this line. This is where your stretch is going to be. Okay? And then what we would do next is we would go ahead and we would cut out right along that line. So let's go ahead and do that. So now we've gone ahead and we've cut along that line. And then what you do, it's really simple after that. What you do is you take this one, and then you take this one, and you basically take your bottom one and go ahead and put it up right here on the top. Okay? And that is actually the seam that you would go ahead and stitch together. Now we're going to use tape because this is paper, but if it was fabric, you would go ahead and just stitch it together. So now we have our new seam, which you can't see, but basically our new seam now is running right here. Okay, so again, so what we did was we took the bottom half, moved it up to the top, and we created a seam right there. Okay, so now we have our bias. So next what you want to do, you want to go ahead and lay this out like this, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark inch intervals. Now since this is a smaller scale, I'm going to also use a smaller scale for the ruler. I'm actually doing quarter of an inch, but we'll go ahead and pretend that it's actually an inch. So all you do is just go ahead and start marking it out. So then when you finish out, you've got some really nice lines here. Now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and take it, and basically what you're going to do is you're going to create a tube. So you want to go ahead and fold this around just like that. Okay, and you'll get it like that. Now the only thing that you need to note here is what you want to do is you want to go ahead and offset so that you have one line overlapping here. If you can see that, I have one of the rows, for lack of a better word, sticking out at the top. Okay, and then what you do is you're also going to go ahead and create your seam along there. Okay, so we'll create our tube again, sorry about that. Okay, and then you go ahead and create your seam. Just like that. Now if you'd measured correctly, which obviously I didn't, I must have been off a little bit, all of your lines would match up. So then, all you need to do once you get that done, you have your little tube here, is you'll go ahead and start cutting your bias. And all you do is you just follow that line. And you just cut it all the way around, just like that. Oops, sorry, can't see that very well. You just cut it all the way around following this line. Now obviously with fabric it would be a bit easier, but you just want to follow that line that you went ahead and made. And go ahead and go all the way around. That's all there is to it. And you just cut all the way around until you get to the very end, and you have your bias tape. So let's go ahead and do that on some fabric. I have another book here, which is called Costume Technician's Handbook. It's a Rosemary Ingham Liz Cubby book. And what it has in here is it's got this great table. It's got your width, bias strip width here, and then your fabric width here that you're going to use. And if you, like for example, if we wanted a 1-inch bias width strip, and we did 36-inch wide fabric, it would yield 31 yards of bias for an inch wide. So it's a great little table there that you can get. Like I said, this is a really great book. I don't know if you can see that there. Costume Technician's Handbook. Wonderful book. Yeah.